So we're going to talk about death. Fresh out the shower, still need to shave. We got the spike going. Hope y'all are enjoying this terribly hot summer weather. It's disgusting. I can't stand it. I used to, I never liked summer. And I was coming around to it a little bit. Oh, kitty walking through. Was coming around to it until this year, actually, because it's been disgusting. And I want to enjoy the heat. Feeling the sun on me is nice, but y'all, it's been disgusting. And now they got the air quality coming down from Canada, some smoke. I can't even go outside without sweating. Now I can't even go outside without not breathing. So anyway, first time I thought about death for the first time, and it really hit me. You don't really think about it that much when you're little, but as you age, there's going to be a point where this hits you. I don't know if this is a universal thing, but for me, that first time when I actually thought about death, I was 19. It was first semester of college. Maybe I was 18. I might have been 18. World religion class. Had to take a humanities credit because my psychology ones didn't transfer or something. I don't know. Maybe I needed more. So I took world religion because I was curious about learning about religion. Why not? Cool class, honestly. Very memorable. Learned about all the mainstream ones. Learned about some older ones, like Zoroastrianism. I don't know. I have like 30 pages of notes I took. Zoroastrianism. I can't say that one. It'll come to me. But the basics: Christian, Islam, Jewish, Buddhism, Hinduism, Shinto, tons. A lot of death is going to be talked about in world religion class. What's after this physical life? Interesting hearing different perspectives. We had a lot of guest speakers come in this class and tell their religious history, or they would be like a teacher of this religion. And then like our main teacher, he just studied religion, theology. And there was just one day, I don't know, I forget which class it was. I think it was the Buddhism one. I don't know why it was that one. I'm just sitting there in the back of my class thinking about it, and it really hit me that day. What if there is nothing? I don't know. It's hard to explain, and I guess you can get why, because it's hard for me and the brain up here to both talk about what's after us, and if there's no after us, what the existence is like without us, because we are all we know, And every time that I do, now when I think about it, it doesn't really hit me as much. Sometimes it still will, but it is like a wave of like, I feel like the most similar feeling is dread. It's almost like this gravity like pours over me. Almost like, I almost start to get like dizzy. I feel like the first time maybe I almost got a little dizzy. Maybe it was like a panic attack. I don't know. I don't think it was. I've had panic attacks and it wasn't like that. But death, crazy. I'm curious if any of y'all watching out there, let me hear your first. Maybe it was like a near-death experience. I haven't really had any of those. I've had like close calls in like the car and stuff where it's like that could have been it, but never really any that like changed me. So love to hear about y'all's near-death experiences. Love to hear how you guys deal with this like thinking of death in your mind. Like, I'm still young. Shout out to all you older folks out there who are older than your 20s. But death can come at any time, so death doesn't really judge. And we're all gonna do it, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're older and it's like closer in your mind, because time gets faster as you get older. I don't want to think about death in my 20s, but it can happen. And I've been blessed in my life to where I haven't really had to encounter many losses of loved ones to death. I've been very blessed with that. So I haven't really had to think too much about it in that sense, but thinking about it more for myself and me dying, and what could be after, and just trying to, make sense of it in my mind. One thing it also makes me think about when I think about death like this is, it can be unhealthy, especially to like ruminate on death and to really like, have it paralyze you. But I feel like this thinking about death can almost do the opposite in your life, where it can actually make you better by, like, say I've had a bad day, right? Say I'm being negative, I'm pouting, emotions are in the gutter. You think about death, you think about this dread, and you're like, wait, I could die one day. Why am I being so negative right now? Negative emotions, they're part of life, but am I going to want to am I wasting my time like this when I could be cheesing? I think about this a lot, actually, when I think about, this whole channel and everything. It's for, of course, finding interests and purpose and all that kind of stuff, within, like, career-wise, stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of the rumination and stuff that I do is based around that, like the unknown of what I want to do for, I want to do a bunch of things throughout my life, but maybe feeling stuck or not knowing what's next. And like, especially with social media and like self-help and everything, you can really get caught in this like cycle of content of how to make your like life better and all this stuff. And I've definitely done a lot of it, and I can already say now at this point in my life, maybe it'll click one day and I'll be like, I'm glad I did all that. But I know 40 years down the line, I'm going to look back at this time frame and I'm going to say, what were you doing? I'm going to sit down with myself at the table, maybe hand myself a cup of coffee, look myself in the mirror, like this one that's actually right here. Look myself dead in the eye and say, what were you doing? We were wasting time. You feel that dread of the dread of death? Yes. You were wasting your time thinking about, how can I make my life better? I wish my life situation was in a better place. Basically, I'm just trying to say, you can use this thought of death to be a benefit to yourself, almost as like a type of self-improvement. Also, maybe you're stuck in a rut and you haven't really been living. You can use these thoughts. Again, not ruminating on the death part, but ruminating on the living part. Stop wasting your time. Enough of the doom scrolling. That's one of the things that makes me think about it the most. Like when I was on TikTok and everything, which I think I want to do a video about doom scrolling. I know that's like such a topic that has been talked about a billion times, but I want to give my take on it, of how I almost have overcome it. We have a different style of doom scrolling at this point, but back when I was on TikTok and Instagram and all that, you can use that thought of death and how, you're wasting these moments you have alive on stuff that you're not even going to remember in 5 minutes. So we'll talk about that in the future, but just food for thought. You can use this thought of death in good ways. You can use this thought of life. No. Use the thought of death. Use death. Something like that. But yeah, I'm really curious to hear how you guys feel when you think about your existence ceasing to be a thing. Like, maybe there's heaven, maybe there's a reincarnation, maybe there's something else, maybe we go to the void. We don't know for sure. But I'm curious to hear about your death experiences and what you think when you think of this death in this way, like I have. Because for me, it's, as I said, that feeling of like a dread pours over you, and my brain like starts to like almost like freak out and like short circuit, because it's like I don't know what to even think about. Like when I'm not here, I won't be able to think about when I'm not here because I'm not here. It's not like I'm thinking of my past life. It's like, no, you're not thinking at all. Maybe it'll be like a dream, you know? But I've been put under anesthesia before, and it could be like that. Maybe it's just like, just fades. The white light. So I'd love to hear what y'all have to think about that. That's probably it for me. We'll keep it short and sweet. This one's actually going to be a pain to edit because I was going all over the place rambling, but that's the fun in it. We're keeping it fun. So yeah, use the thought of death to enhance your life in many ways. Let me know techniques that you can use, that you use in your day-to-day by thinking about death to improve your life. I'm going to start a new journaling technique. I'll let y'all know how that goes. As I said, poetry book, that's going well. Thank you for asking. If it wasn't so hot, I'd be doing a little more exercise. That's it for me. Have a great day. Your boy, he's out.